That's not it. What it is you just try to crazy move. You try to crazy move, you try to jumping roundhouse kick, and when you're in that position, when you throw that jumping roundhouse kick, if you don't land in a good way with a supporting leg, you put so much pressure on that knee. The way he landed, he threw the kick, he jumped up, he threw it, and he landed with his knee in the worst position.
Every time he throws,
like this, and that's that leg.
Oh my goodness.
What is going on?
Is it his ACL or?
He steps. Now watch his right leg. He steps on it, and right there.
Oh, yep. Yep, you can see it.
Tries to throw it again, and it buckles and gives out. That's crazy. That is literally crazy. Look, it gives out again.
Putting out his sneakers. Could he have been injured before the fight?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, that I don't know. I mean, the day of the press conference, he came running out of the back and ran right up to him and stopped abruptly and, squared off with them. They were pushing foreheads. And
the question of getting paid as you step in the cage was.
Well, listen. If anybody saw anything that could have possibly made him look weak or injured, expecting at least a one-round war, or who knew what Conor was capable of as far as cardio or whatever else after a 5-year layoff, and well, there you go. I mean, we're assuming blown ACL. I'm no doctor, but that's what I figured when I saw it, and doctors think the same.
Conor McGregor's comeback ended in a matter of seconds, but the real mystery began after the fight. Slow-motion replays, Joe Rogan's breakdown, Dana White's reaction, and medical experts all pointed toward different possibilities. Was it simply one bad landing, or had an underlying injury been waiting to happen all along? The more experts spoke, the more shocking the story became.
The excitement for Conor McGregor coming back after all this time, 5 years away from the sport, after breaking his leg, was at an all-time high, okay? But we know what happened. If you're watching this right now, you know what happened. You know what happened. He went out there, he threw a jumping, flying kick, blew his knee out. They said probably his ACL. Who knows? Maybe a meniscus. Maybe his ACL. Maybe his PCL. That's what I did when I was training with George St. Pierre back in the day in 2005. I blew out my PCL. That's why I got a knee replacement. What I'm saying is that this sport is very, very unforgiving, okay? And Conor McGregor came back after 5 years, and the appetite was there, the thirst was there, and I'm sure the hunger was there on the side of Conor McGregor. But it took about 15 seconds. 15 seconds is all it took. He ran out there, he jumped in the air, he flew a flying kick, which was unadvisable. It was, because the man's almost 40 years old. And then he blew his knee out. And Max Holloway knew straight away. And fair play to Max Holloway, right? He was even telling the referee, going, yo, there's something not right here. There's something not right, okay? Anyway, that was it. It's done. It's over.
As the shock of UFC 329 began to settle, former champion Michael Bisping looked beyond the injury itself and focused on one painful reality. After waiting nearly 5 years for Conor McGregor's return, the comeback ended before it had a chance to begin. Bisping didn't just analyze the sequence, he explained why one risky decision may have changed everything. And his final conclusion about Conor's future was far more devastating than fans expected.
Snaps his foot and he winces in pain. Fuck! I fucking hate my life! This is the one fucking escape I get, and it's shit! And McGregor's just limping around like my fucking man! Fuck!
Sometimes the most honest reaction isn't planned, it's captured in real time. As thousands of fans watched Conor's comeback unfold, MMA guru couldn't believe what he was seeing. Within seconds, excitement turned into pure frustration as he realized this wasn't a normal stumble. His emotional response reflected exactly what millions of McGregor fans were feeling at that very moment.
So, when we were talking about the guy over here earlier asking about there being a pre-injury, just on my accounts, the face-off that day is at 80 million views, right? So if there was a pre-existing injury, somebody would have noticed it. He was limping, put his shoes on, he ran right at him. I don't think there was. Anything is possible, but he sure didn't look like it. And for 80 million just on my accounts, you know, that number's got to be massive, and nobody noticed anything. So there you go.
Even after the fight, many fans refused to believe the injury happened inside the octagon. The theory that Conor entered UFC 329 already hurt continued to spread across social media. Dana White was asked about it once again, but this time he pointed to one important piece of evidence from Fight Week that, in his opinion, makes that theory much harder to believe.
Max, there was a lot of preparation. There was a camp at 170. There was a lot of things going on. It lasted a few seconds. Tell me about those couple of seconds and what your takeaway from them is.
I had him weak in the knees. What can I say? You know, so at the end of the day, it is what it is. We got to do a third. Hopefully his injury is not too crazy. I know he was saying that they wanted him back in April. I can do that. That'd be fun. I want to actually feel what this 170 weight cracking and power that he says he has. So maybe we can do it back. Right now, I'm just praying for the guy. You know, all jokes aside, as a human being, even when I was in there, you could see me telling the ref, bro, this guy is done. Just let it go. And the referee was telling me, bro, thank you for pushing me because it was a hard spot. He had a hard feeling. And Conor's crazy. Conor's like, fight. I was like, you're fucking crazy, bro.
Oh, he was yelling at you from the bottom?
For the first one, when he first fell down, he was like, fight, I'm good. And we went down the second time. I could just tell, like, his whole demeanor changed. I was like, bro, this called his fight, you know?
Max, that's why you are so beloved in this.
While fans were still debating exactly when Conor's knee gave out, the one person standing closest to him finally shared what he witnessed. Max Holloway admitted that the injury looked serious almost immediately, but what surprised him even more was Conor's refusal to quit. Despite barely being able to stand, McGregor kept urging everyone to let the fight continue. Max's inside account reveals just how chaotic those final moments inside the octagon really were.
Returning and the adrenaline pumping to maybe even attempt a move like this right off the bat. So he tried this spinning roundhouse kick to start the fight, literally coming right out of his corner, attempting to do this kick to Max Holloway. The landing here is the injury. Essentially, as soon as he lands here, that right knee, ACL, blows out. Right? Now he tries to continue fighting. As always, Conor's got balls. He continued to try to fight. Could barely stand up, fell off his feet 3 more times or 2 more times, and couldn't continue eventually. But I want you guys to watch this again, right? So
by now, several experts had reached a similar conclusion, but renowned physiotherapist Jeff Cavaliere wanted to show exactly why it happened. After studying the footage frame by frame, he pointed to one split-second landing that may have ended Conor's comeback before it ever truly began. According to Jeff, the kick itself wasn't the problem. It was what happened the instant his foot touched the canvas.
Again, right? So I want to point out the mechanism here. So when he jumps, obviously it's a very rotational kick, right? You're rotating with a lot of force, a lot of power. When the foot hits the ground, right here, it becomes essentially stuck, right? Stuck in this position here. It can't move anymore. As soon as it hits the ground, it could spin a little bit, but it really can't move. But the hips are still spinning with a lot of force. Not to mention the fact that whenever a foot does hit the ground, especially from a jump like that, the ground reaction forces are many times your body weight. So it's not just a body weight of 170. Here's a body weight of 170 times many more factors into that basically causes a huge amount of torque that starts to continue to spin the femur on a fixed tibia, right? The tibia is now in contact with the ground, and now the femur continues to rotate. That's one of the #1 mechanisms for the ACL tearing. The second thing,
Jeff then broke down the mechanics in even greater detail. As Conor's foot planted on the canvas, the lower leg stayed fixed while the rest of his body continued rotating at full speed. That combination of force, momentum, and awkward positioning created enormous stress on the knee. It's the exact type of movement sports medicine experts have linked to some of the most devastating ACL injuries seen across combat sports.
We've got a bit to talk about when it comes to the fight with Himony and Gary, and I want to get to all of that. But before I do, Obviously, Conor McGregor, right? UFC 329, just an absolutely devastating thing. What happened? Came out there, knee went on him. Was he hurt beforehand? Was he hurt after the hand? Did he get hurt during the fight? What is your take on ultimately what happened with Conor McGregor and then what happened with his knee?
You know, it's, to me, it's like to have a warrior like him train as hard as he did after a 5-year layoff and come back, and to have something like that happen, your heart has to go out to the guy. Look, I may not like him as a person at times, but I have to respect what a great warrior he is. And to see him go out that way is not the way I would want anyone to go out. You'd want them to go out with, you know, doing what they came out there to do, perform. You know, either the other man was the better man or you were the better man. But he beat himself on that one, and that's the one that I feel for him, because that's not something that I would want for anybody, you know. And he deserved to either become victorious or lose to Max. That's the way it needed to go. But you know, you got to give all the credit due to Max, willing to step aside and go, look, man, the guy's injured, you know, pay attention to his injury. I don't want, you know, he could have easily capitalized on that. He didn't. So to do that, what Max did, you got to give your hats off to that guy. What a warrior he was, by acknowledging that he wants a fair fight, and he knows it wasn't a fair fight. So I respected that from Max immensely also. So, you know, one guy I felt bad for because nobody deserves to go out that way, and the other guy I respect immensely because nobody deserves to take somebody out like that.
As the MMA world continued debating how the injury happened, legendary coach Javier Mendez looked at the situation from a completely different perspective. Rather than blaming Conor McGregor or questioning his preparation, he focused on the emotional side of the story. After spending 5 years fighting his way back to the octagon, Conor's comeback ended before fans even had the chance to see what he had prepared. Javier admitted that no fighter deserves an ending like that. He also gave huge credit to Max Holloway, praising him for immediately recognizing the injury and choosing sportsmanship over taking advantage of an opponent who was clearly hurt.
Conor McGregor, the big question is, let me know in the comment section, will he ever fight again? The sport is a better place with Conor McGregor involved. The hype, the anticipation, all of it with Conor McGregor here in town this week was at an all-time high. It was crazy, it really was. But will he fight again? Will he come back? He's just 5 years away from the sport.
The injury wasn't just about losing one fight. It suddenly put Conor McGregor's entire future in doubt. After seeing how everything unfolded, Michael Bisping raised the question that millions of fans were already asking themselves. Has the former double champion fought inside the octagon for the last time, or is there still one more comeback left in him?
Potential fight with Islam Makhachev, saying that he's not really that interested in Justin Gaethje, which is probably the fight I thought he was going to potentially get if he beat Max Holloway. But no, he was talking about Islam Makhachev wanting to be one of the only guy to win belts across 3 divisions, right? And that matchup, it seemed like that was the one that he was focused on. Would you say at this point it's safe to say we'll never see him versus Islam at welterweight? And what is your reaction to ultimately this fight never happening?
Bummer. I mean, I wanted that fight because, look, listen, we as coaches, we live for those moments to have an opportunity to be with something like that magnitude. So I've been fortunate enough to be in quite a few of them. So, you know, to have another mega fight like that around the corner, potentially, that would have been a great honor. You know, I like to be there when I was there for Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez. That was such a huge one. You know, John Jones, DC, you know, and so Habib and Conor. I mean, there's been some big ones I've been involved in. So those are the kind that are special, you know. And you know, as a coach, we want to be involved in these kind of events. And for me, I was looking forward to hopefully, if things panned out right, being in that opportunity with him, because he was the only one that could really tip the scales at another level. And we all know that. We can't fool ourselves. There is nobody that can do what that guy can do. Nobody's been able to do what he's been able to do. We know that. So, you know, of course I wanted to be part of that. Why not? It's like, that's what we're about, right? We're about being and performing at the biggest spotlight, you know? So yeah, as a coach, I want that, yes.
The consequences of UFC 329 stretched far beyond Max Holloway. Before the injury, there was growing excitement around a blockbuster showdown between Conor McGregor and Islam Makhachev, a fight many believed could become one of the biggest events in UFC history. Javier Mendez admitted that even he was hoping it would happen. But after what unfolded inside the octagon, that dream suddenly feels farther away than ever before.
Jumps. Yep. Lands, tweaks his right knee, and it's over. The very first kick of the fight, the way he lands. He'll be out for a couple years, if he ever comes back at all. Goes to put weight on the knee, gives out again. Throws another kick, it's over. It's over. He needs to retire, you would say that. Yep, knee gives out again as he goes to throw the punch. Damn. Look at Conor's face, just in disgust. Nothing I can do. There's nothing he can do. Man, this is a shit situation to be in. Look, I don't want to say I feel bad for Conor because it's the fight game. This is how it goes, but definitely a shitty situation to be in if you think about it. So, Max doesn't want to win.
As the replay spread across the MMA world, the discussion took a much darker turn. Some analysts believed this wasn't just another injury. It could be the end of Conor McGregor's career. They argued that everything went wrong the moment he landed from that opening kick. Yet, despite their harsh opinion, they all agreed on one thing. Nobody wanted a legendary comeback to end this way.
Number one, myself included, that we as a community care about is simply, what is next? That's all we ever want to know, right? What's next? It's hard for me to make a case. It's hard for me to imagine a quick turnaround for Conor if there is, in fact, a blown-out knee. We're talking about a year right now before you return to the gym. Then if we're looking at delays or anything like this, if we take half the time till his next fight that we took between his previous fight and this fight, he's 40 years old. This isn't realistic. So, do we have nostalgia? Do we thank this young man for the memories? Because I think we'll go in line with what he says. If he comes out and says, hey, give me one more. I'll keep my mouth shut. You owe me one by contract. I want one more. I agree. I've been out too long, so don't let me be out this time. Give me a fight. I think that we'll fall in line. Here's the thing. He would have to do that for love of competition. Why do I say that? You can't main event somebody at this price tag and not...
The injury quickly sparked an even bigger conversation about Conor's future. Chael Sonnen admitted that if the knee damage is as serious as expected, returning won't be easy, especially at this stage of Conor's career. But instead of ruling him out completely, Chael posed the question every fan was already asking. Does Conor have one final fight left? Or have we already seen his last walk to the octagon?
Enter the octagon in the inspection zone. So hard to know if there was any...
Prior to the Oliveira fight, he wasn't slowing down at any point. So there's a million questions there. How's he going to look at 170? You know, I think that's a really interesting thing that not enough people are talking about. Just with that extra weight, I don't think it will be a huge deal because probably when he's fighting at 55, he's getting... Like, I suspect Max is going to weigh in at like 168. You know, like I don't think he's going to struggle to make 170.
I mean, he's a big boy. Well, I was with him one time in Hawaii, and his ass was at 185.
Yeah, so I'm just curious how he looks. And then obviously there's like a gazillion stories with Conor. The layoff, the injuries, all the other shit that he's had to deal with, you know, the body. And then there's just like the silk pajamas thing, right? Like the Marvin Hagler line. Is he really truly motivated at this stage with all that success and fame and fortune and all that? Is he truly motivated to push himself like he was 10 years ago? Does he have that chip on his shoulder? Like, you know, but a lot of bad stuff has happened over the last couple of years to him. And his Q rating has gone down. And maybe that's the motivation to remind...
Long before the opening bell, Ariel Helwani and Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson believed the biggest mystery wasn't Max Holloway. It was Conor McGregor himself. They weren't questioning his talent, But whether years away from competition had changed the fighter fans once feared. How would he perform at 170 pounds? Would the extra weight help or slow him down? And after everything he had achieved outside the octagon, did he still have the same obsession to compete at the highest level? Those were the questions everyone wanted answered. Tragically, the injury happened so quickly that one of the most anticipated evaluations of Conor's career ended before it truly began.
Right, here we go, here we go. Started off with a kick and slipped. Slipped again. This is a bad start for Conor, jeez. Max is on top. Conor doing a couple of up kicks, but what's going on with Conor? Oh God, is he slipping? Why does he keep slipping? What's going on?
This could be the fastest review ever, this.
Is he in pain or what? Oh, something's up with his leg, innit? What? What's going on? Oh, that's upsetting, isn't it?
While millions of fans were trying to understand what they had just witnessed, UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall was reacting live as the shocking moments unfolded. At first, he thought Conor had simply slipped during the exchange, but as McGregor continued struggling to stay on his feet, Tom immediately realized something was seriously wrong. With every awkward movement, the excitement quickly turned into concern. Then came the moment that confirmed everyone's fears. It wasn't a balance issue at all, but what looked like a devastating knee injury. Watching Tom's reaction in real time perfectly captures the confusion, disbelief, and heartbreak that spread across the entire MMA world. What started as one of the biggest comeback fights in UFC history ended in a way that nobody could have predicted. In just a matter of seconds, years of preparation, endless anticipation, and countless questions were replaced by uncertainty about Conor McGregor's future. Was this simply terrible luck? Or is it the final chapter of one of MMA's greatest careers? Only time will reveal the answer. One thing is certain. The moment Conor stepped into the octagon, the entire combat sports world stopped to watch, proving that his star power remains unmatched. Whether he fights again or not, this night will be remembered as one of the most heartbreaking moments in UFC history. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe Conor McGregor should make one final comeback, or is it finally time for him to retire? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more UFC updates and analysis.